Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. Last night I received a review copy of Warfighter, the fantasy card game from Dan Verson Games. If you know anything about Warfighter is a card game where you are using the cards, you have soldiers, you have equipment. There are action cards that give you special abilities to move along the board. There are locations that you have to move into and suffer environmental effects, deal with enemies as enemies come to those points. And then there are also, there's also lots of die rolling, right? You got to do combat dice. There's a 2-hit number as well as a penetration number, which gets through armor. And Warfighter is a really great system. Alexander and I love it. You've probably watched our many videos on it. We've played everything from the Spec Ops game. We've played World War II, both Pacific and European theater. We have played World War II in the Med and North Africa, which were the new editions that came out earlier this year. So frankly, we love it. And I'm going to admit it up front. I'm going to be honest. I'm very partial to these Warfighter games. I just love them. Now, they are not classic war games, right? Most of you are going to turn your noses up. But it's fun. It's unadulterated fun, very enjoyable. You can play it co-op. You can play it solo. You can play it with a couple of different people. Everybody just controls a character or two. Or a follower. In this game, they're called followers. In the other games, it was called squads and support. But yeah, Warfighter, the system has been modified to create a fantasy setting. The fantasy setting is Plumeria, and this is the core game. I'm sure there's going to be more. You can see I have a lot of the expansions that they provided me. I've got them kind of listed here as to what they are. The top, those are lairs or dungeons that you're going to go into. You have Moloch's Pit, which is kind of a demon pit. Worm's Lair, which has a lot of dragons in it, and the main bad guy's a dragon. And then Lich's Halls, which, as you can guess, lots of undead, and then ultimately you'll fight a lich. In the middle, you have additional characters. You have a halfling thief, an elven battle mage, a dwarven fighter, and a human paladin. So those are in addition to the 4 or 5 classes, 6 or 7 classes that are found in the core book. And then here on the bottom you have, I don't know exactly what to call them. I'm calling them locations. But these just have different characters in them, more weapons, more action cards, more location. It's a little bit of everything, kind of a hodgepodge. But very cool. So there's the base game, has a crap load of cards. You've also got these expansions that you can get. The other thing that I wanted to show you, they provided us with the card counter holders. It's a 5-pack. So these look like they are 3D printed, in essence, holders. You're going to put a card here, which will be your character. And then around here, you can put the different conditions that are on him or skills that he has, wounds, different things that have affected them, and you're going to track those. So these are very nice. Kind of will keep the game a little bit more organized. And that's an additional thing I think you can buy on their website. Alexander and I joked, we have a Foot Locker full of Warfighter stuff. It's a box. We need a treasure chest for this one. So we're going to do some scouring and searching, and hopefully we will find one. I just made a mess of the game because I wanted to show you the back of the box. Here's a good look at the different card types, the counters that you will use. These are kind of like action counters or represent you on the board itself. Yeah, but designed by Dan Verson. This is a very cool game, and it's tactical. You're going to play with individual guys, maybe with a couple of followers. Various scenarios last 30 to 90 minutes, and once again, as I said, you can play them solo. You can play them cooperatively. Really a nice system, nice touch. Big box. This is a 3-inch box. Probably needed to be a 4-inch box, going to be honest. Really sturdy. And yeah, you can see I made a bit of a mess. So the first thing we're going to do here, I'm going to actually pick these cards up. The game comes with a couple of 6-siders and a couple of 10-siders. 3 10-siders, actually. The 10-siders are your 2-hit numbers. So you're going to typically have to roll anywhere from a 5 or higher. Some of your really long shot attacks, say with like a dagger, you're going to have to roll an 8 or higher. But the better your fighter is, the better skills and abilities he has, you're going to hit on lower and lower numbers. More often than not, the lowest is about a 5. So it's very challenging, kind of a 50-50. There's a 6-sider that also is used to penetrate armor. So not only do you have to roll and hit the number that the target number you need, you're also going to have to roll a 6-sider and penetrate their armor. If you penetrate but don't hit, there's an effect. If you hit but don't penetrate, I think there's an effect. So yeah, those are the dice, the boring stuff. Let's go ahead and get to the cards. So you can see the card backs. They're fairly standard. There are different types of cards. So in this handful here, I've got a whole bunch of different types of cards. So we've got mundane gear. These are cards that you can purchase. They have a gold cost, and then you can put those into your squad. These are wizard skills. You can see they have a spell book. These are thief skills. You got quite a few of those. Cleric skills have a mace on them, bludgeoning weapon, right? Clerics don't use swords typically. Some clerics do. Fighter skills. So you can see pretty much skills are a big part of the game. This is a god card, I believe. So the different clerics will worship different deities, just like in Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or Hackmaster or any number of other role-playing games. So they'll be devoted to this deity, and it will give them certain powers that they can call upon as they cast their spells. So these final ones are hero cards. There are two different types of heroes. I'm going to flip these over because I want to show you these types of cards. So here's the hero cards. This is Kaimur, the human wizard. And you can see there are 3 of his cards. Now, you'll notice in the upper right, there is a point value assigned. This one's 18, this one's 24, this one's 31. That's the cost that you're going to have to pay to have this guy as your character. You can see there's also a gold cost. I can't remember exactly what that is, but they have different abilities, right? Different actions. Range striking is going to put a wound. Hand-to-hand attack, not very good. He's going to gain experience when he does certain things. And then here's his spells. He's going to have ice hands, fire hands, deflect, and minor deflect. So let's compare that to the guy that's just above him and cost more. You can see his numbers have changed. They've gotten better, right? He has a greater array of spells. He adds ice spray. What else did he? Nope, he just added ice spray. And then if you look at the third guy, he added no new spells, but his numbers changed and his ability. So you can see they've got a level here, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Whereas this guy, or gal, I should say, a dwarven cleric, Rika, at 1st level, they've got a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and 4th level. Oh, a 5th and 6th level as well. Once again, small points, only going to cost 8. Her deity is Odin. And then she has a bunch of abilities. She's going to start with a leather armor and 1 XP. She also has the spell Minor Heal. At level 2, she's going to get studded armor, which is just better. Level 3, studded armor, but adds a new spell, Stand Firm. So you can see there's advancement as you increase the abilities of these guys. So there's an example. That is a look at simply one deck of cards. You're going to divide these up you're going to keep these separate. So you might have tons of different bags here filled with different cards. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the action cards because they're pretty cool. This is the heart of the game. So each player every turn is going to have a certain hand size. Typically it's based on your health. So you might have 3 to 6 cards or 7 cards. And these cards you're going to play to take actions on the board. We'll show you the board here in a minute. But here's an example. Flank attack. Play when you or any hero, typically something in parentheses like that, means you can spend an experience point to do it on any hero, not just yourself. So you can play this card to activate or help your friend's guy if you're playing together or another hero that you're controlling. So when they declare a non-explosion attack and none of the active hostile attacks on the hostile card are targeting that hero, you're going to add +2, +1. I think +2 is to attack, +1 is to penetration. So you can see you've got 4 of those cards. These are going to be mixed up into a big deck with about 60 or 80 cards, and you're going to draw these out. Here's an advancing attack. Play when you or once again any hero declares a non-explosion attack. Add 1 vuln to the hero, vulnerability. Add +4, +0 to that attack. You've got some of those. 1-on-1. Play when you, any hero declares a non-explosion attack on a hostile card with only 1 hostile. Add +1, +1 all heroes' attacks against that hostile till the end of the turn. That's a nice card. After the attack, retarget all hostile attacks on that hostile card to the target hero who attacked. That's why it's called 1-on-1. You got charge, you got clash, rush in, melee, just a whole bunch. Pays 1 action of the cost for you or any hero to enter or leave the striking area. So you're going to be moving between different areas on the board. Inspiration, second strike, play after you or any hero, roll for an attack, re-roll any 1 die. Critical hit, move, just a whole bunch of movement cards. The other thing I would say about these packs is typically they are somewhat themed, and you're going to find new action cards kind of added to these packs. You might have 6 or 8 new action cards that are included in there that you're going to shuffle up and either add to the deck when you're using that hero, or they're generic enough that they're going to go into the deck and just add different abilities. We're going to look at one more kind of hero deck. Here is a look, or not a hero deck, I'm sorry, one more deck of cards. And you can see these are kind of mixed up as well, a little bit of everything. These are hostiles. So you can see this is a skeletal archers. You've got 2 of those. These are characters that are going to be put into the game. Here, let me see if I can find a location card. Whole bunch of these. Lava Golem, Wraith Captain, Flying Fiends, Elder Punisher. Here's some equipment. Holy Symbol of Light, Minor Heal Scroll, Divine Insight, Minor Heal Potion, Attack, Faith Potion, Shadow Potion. Whole bunch of those. Different weapons, Fine Short Sword, Leather Armor, Keen Mace. And then here's some more of those. Remember I said there's just different types of action cards. Here's some additional action cards. Let me see if I can find a location. Here we go. Here I've got kind of a stack of location cards here. I need to organize these. I opened everything because I was rifling through it yesterday. So this here is called a nuisance location. Not sure exactly what that is, but it is a location nonetheless. You're going to draw these out, put them on the board, and then have to traverse them. So it has a name, says it's a dungeon, must play, free to play trap, pick +2, pick traps, or you're going to fail in falling. Not sure what that exactly means, but there's rules in the game. So when you fall in this pit trap, you're going to be disarmed, triggered, or maybe no roll. But when this location is on the board, every round you're going to do a wandering, monster, or reinforcement roll. And here, this is going to bring, looks like 1, and that looks pretty specific. It's a giant rat. Don't know exactly how specific those are, but that's going to bring an enemy every turn. So you've got to get away from that location and then kill those enemies. Here's another location, lava flow, long corridor. There's a bunch of them, hidden stairs, place of darkness, lair, locked door. So you might want to look at the lair. It looks like it's gonna bring orcs, and that's the reinforcement. Some of these might have 2 reinforcement. There you go. There's a 2, so it's gonna bring 2 enemy giant rats. Here it's gonna bring 1 of each orcs or goblins and rats. So that's a look at the locations. In order to play a location, you're gonna have to have a location card in your action cards. You'll draw randomly then a location and place it out. So it's like you're exploring a dungeon. There's a look at a whole bunch more creatures, harpies, spiders, fire ants, more rats, orc spearmen, etc. Yeah, so that's just a look at the different types. I'm not sure I'm going to go through all these cards. Here I wanted to show you just another character. This is a human fighter, but uses a poleaxe. Bartok. So you've got 1st through 6th there. Then you've got another guy called Whisper. It's a human thief. You've also got 1st through 6th. Kymor, remember we already saw Kymor. There's 2 more of his cards. And then these, not really sure what this is a location. No, that's not a location. Oh, this is a player aid. This is one of your player aids. There's 3 or 4 of them in the game. There are towns in this one too, so you're going to be able to go back and gain certain benefits at towns, more locations. This is a boss, for lack of a better word, called an objective. So when you go into the fire caves, this is the ultimate end bad guy, the big bad evil guy you're going to fight. You can see they're pretty beefy. Takes 6 wounds to kill it. More of the towns, more locations. Grimax, here's another boss you're going to have to fight. So you can see there's a lot of variety, a lot of different cards, and a lot of new things that have been included in this game. And I'm frankly very, very excited for that. We're going to play the crap out of this, frankly, I bet, and really enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get a look at the rule books and the different aids that are included. So here you've got the Warfighter Fantasy specific rules. Very nice index, fairly laid out, but I'm going to tell you there's a lot of rules to this game. This is not a simple game to pick up necessarily, but once you get it, you got it, and you're going to be able to play it. So that's the specific rules. Here they've added, and they've started doing this over the past couple of expansions, they have added the series rules. This will include and cover all of the different Warfighter expansions. You can see they've got them listed here: Fantasy, World War II, Cold War, Modern, Near Future. We've seen Modern, World War II, and now Fantasy. So Cold War and Near Future are coming up. But these are big rule books, guys. You're going to have to dive into those and get familiar with this. Alexander's done a couple of playthroughs I think you can use. Here you've got kind of a keyword sheet. It just helps remind you what keywords are on cards. This is fairly standard for Danverson games. They've done that a lot of their leader series. And then here you have a nation guide to Plumeria. These are all the different towns and the nations that are included. And they've got kind of a history on each of those. Kind of cool. I like the art. Sometimes the art on these isn't great, but I feel like this one is stepped up a little bit. So that's a look at that location book. You also have counters. You have a bunch of counters. So there are 4 sheets, full sheets of counters. And I would add, in these boxes, you're going to add more counters, more specific counters to the characters and the cards in this deck. So you'll have a ton of counters. You're going to need a counter tray or a lot of baggies to hold them. These represent disposable items, potions, leather straps, which you use to heal things. These are additional modifiers that you can get, like I read. These are attack actions, inactive characters. This is a timer that you're going to put on the track. I think these are experience points, maybe. Cleared shows that locations are completed. These are your avatars that are used on the board. We'll look at those, but you can see all the different characters couple of wizards, clerics, some fighters, a couple of rogues, a battle mage, a cleric, a fighter, a rogue, a cleric, and I think a wizard. So yeah, a bunch of different light or torches. Torches are going to burn for a certain amount of time. You've got money here, more of the same, just different condition markers, enemies, etc. You're going to put those. These are attack markers, more money. These are silver. You've got wounds. Let me see if there's wounds on the back. Nope. Acted. Those are for the monsters, I think. You can see lots of different counters, like the colors. Really is going to add to the game. So here they've got kind of a little campaign map. Kind of neat. This does have a campaign mode, or you can just play the individual scenarios. This is just a little board, very nicely done. And now let's go ahead and get to the big board. If you are familiar with Warfighter, typically Warfighter is a line of boxes that go from the left to the right with a whole bunch of holding boxes for cards of different types. You will notice, first thing you'll notice, is this board is not that. This is very, very different. You can see they have specific areas for holding of cards that you're going to play. For instance, certain scenarios will say you have this town out. So you're going to put the town here in the town box. You're going to actually pick an adventure, go on that adventure, and that adventure is going to go here so that you're aware of what's going on, what your goals are. Locations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as you go into different locations, you're going to put those there. Monsters from, say, a first location, if they spawn, will move towards you and attack you and vex you. You'll also notice there's a guards box. So I'm assuming there's guards in different areas. And then here you've got this new place called the striking range. So this is where combat's going to be done. Here's a range 0. This says hostile cards up here. And then you've got your turn sequence. You've got the kind of 2-hit and penetration area. You've got a very thematic turn track. These are torches ranging from 6 to 10. And then up here you have reminders about setup. You're going to do the campaign map, so I assume you maybe put that there. Not really specifically sure. But there you go. That's a look at the board. Heavy mounted map board. Very cool. Very cool. I'm excited about this. I love Warfighter. I've said that a couple of times to you. It's a card game, meaning you're gonna play cards. I know many of you don't like cards necessarily. I do. I don't have a problem with frickin' cards. I think they're fun. But yeah, there you go. That's I think I blabbed on for 23 minutes. I'm going to put a couple of these expansion boxes here. I'm not going to go through. I just wanted to show you those because, frankly, I think they're damn cool. And I'm glad he gave them all to us because, frankly, we will use them. I'm not afraid to use them. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing video. I know that I'm excited about this game. Really looking forward to it. Want to get into it quickly. We'll probably do that over the next couple of weeks at least. Play it together to get the rules down, and then I want to do this solo. I've done many of the other solo, and definitely want to play this one solo and put it through its paces. So there you have it, Warfighter, the fantasy card game. This is the newest entry to the Warfighter series. Very much looking forward to it. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.